Today we're setting up a new breeding tank with undergravel filter and mini aquascape for Caridina red crystal shrimp, and this video follows the whole process from setting up the tank to adding the shrimp. Hope you'll enjoy this build. Let's get started. Alright guys, this is our tank we're gonna use for this setup, and it's 60 by 40 by 40 centimeter deep, and this tank made out of 8mm low iron glass. It has like a less green tint in it, so you're gonna see more truly color through the glass. I really like this tank. It's quite good quality. It looks expensive, but it only cost me $100 including delivery, and I bought it from Amazon yesterday and today already arrived. Very pleased with this tank. So now it's time to create an underground filtration at the back of the tank. Let's do it now. And now I want to create an area for plants on the other side of the tank, and I already have a strip of glass for that. And before I did just a simple triangular space like that, but this time I want to do a little bit more complex way and put it like another little piece here like this. I think it's gonna look a little bit better this way. Alright guys, I finished with all the glass partitions and our tank is ready to cycle. Oh, that's my cat here. Don't mind my cat. So we can put it on a rack now and start cycle. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot something very important. Okay, that's much better. And now let's fit the UGF plates with the tubing. As always guys, I'm gonna use Ista Undegravel Filter set. And this is a little bit tricky part. As you can see, one plate doesn't fit here because it's too big, and we have to cut it slightly 1 centimeter like that. So I already put a mark here. And the easiest way to cut it, to use the tin snips. They designed to cut the metal, so you can buy them for $10 or so. And you can just cut them like so. Yeah. Nice, that's what we need. Alright, our tank is inside the rack. I finished with UGF plates. I connected the tubing. I also connected the auto top-off system valve. Everything ready to put the soil in. And for this setup I'm gonna use ADA Amazonia soil, and I have a really great result with the soil. We finished with the soil, and for this tank I've used exactly one bag, full bag of ADA Amazonia, and you can see we have plenty space for our plants. So the next step is to sprinkle bacterial powder on top of the soil. This is what I normally do. Okay, I just sprinkled about 5 grams of bacterial powder on top of the surface, and now I'm gonna add some minerals, like mineral powder, which called mironekuton. It's Japanese Dead Sea mineral powder. It's quite good as well for bacteria. It just helps the bacteria growth. Just sprinkle it on top of the soil as well. Okay, we've done with soil, with bacterial powder. Now it's time to fill this tank with the water. So everything is done, the tank is running, so our cycle is officially started today. So we finished with the easiest part, and now the hardest part is to wait for this tank to get cycled, and it's gonna take at least 10 weeks from my experience because we're using ADA Amazonia here and it's leaching ammonia. It's been already like 6-7 weeks since we start cycle this tank, and as you can see we have a little problem here. Yes guys, it's happened again. I have a green pea soup, I think it's called like that, or algae bloom. So I wrap this tank completely with the bean bags. There is no way any light coming through of that, so I'm going to find out if it helps or not in a few days, but you guys gonna find out it in a few seconds. It's been 5 days since we wrapped this tank up. What do you reckon? Did it help? Let's find out. Alright, the moment of truth? Nah, that didn't help. We have to do something else. Check this tank out. I found the cure of this green water algae, and it works really fast because it's the same day. And what I did actually, I added this product which called Acrylic. So this product is designed for clear the cloudy water, but it also works for the green water algae like that. So what it does is just to clump all these little particles into the bigger particles, and these bigger particles either sink to the bottom or clear with the filter. So I also added this filter with the filter flows inside, and you can see it became green because it's removed all this green algae from the water. Nice, I'm so happy about that. But guys, one more tip: don't try to use it in your shrimp tank because it's very bad for shrimp. I tried it once in my tank and my shrimps really freaked out. They start to run like a crazy, and luckily I just did a massive water change, removed the shrimp, and I saved them. But this definitely kills your shrimp, so don't use it in the shrimp tank. But in an empty tank or in your fish tank, it works great for that, yeah. And guys, all these plants I put in the beginning as an experiment, just to see how they're gonna do in the water with high ammonia. So we don't need to wait for ammonia to go away to plant our plants. The stem plants looking very good and they're really beautiful, but the problem with the stem plants in your breeding setup is that they're gonna wearing the aqua soil much faster, because they're gonna consume all the nutrients from the aqua soil, and the aqua soil won't last long if we're gonna have our stem plants in our setup. And this is gonna be our breeding tank, so I'm gonna concentrate on breeding shrimp here, so no stem plants here. And here I have plenty of carpeting plants, HC Cuba. They are from Tropica and they're in vitro plants free of algae. So there should be more than enough for that tank. Let's plant them in. It's been about 1 week since we planted this beautiful carpeting plant, HC Cuba, and take a look at this. It's already started to grow a little bit, and I think in about 2 or 3 weeks it's gonna cover this area completely. It's gonna look like in this tank over here. Take a look at this beautiful plant here. But we're not gonna plant any stem plants at the back because it's going to be a breeding tank. That should be enough. I don't want to overcomplicate this tank. It's going to be very simple setup. And now it's time to add some hardscape here at the back, but before that I'm going to add something else here, and this is what I want to add in this tank. Here we have about 50 or 60 guppies in this jug, and I want to put them in this tank for about 2 or 3 weeks. It's always beneficial to add some fish in the tank before you're adding shrimp, because the fish poop is very good for beneficial bacteria to growing some algae and biofilm. So let's do it now. I think these guppies absolutely like this tank, and guys, it's always good to see some life in a new tank. And for the hardscape, I'm going to use some bogwood. Wood is a very good place to grow biofilm, and it's very beneficial for the shrimp. Here I have a piece of wood with a nice texture. I think it's going to fit nicely in our tank. So now let's decorate it with some busifilandra. Looks much better with the plants. So now let's place it in the tank. Fish think so. I'm going to feed them now. No, it's not the time. I'm going to do it later. So I'm going to place it here at the back. I think it looks cool here. Alright guys, I'm back with another update. It's been 12 weeks since we set this tank up. It's been a long time ago. This tank is cycled for sure, and it's fully matured and it's ready for shrimp. So let me show you the tank. And this is our tank. This is how it looks after 12 weeks. And I just moved all the fish from this tank to our neighbor tank, which is temporary fish tank here. Maybe just a few babies left. You can see them in the corner. I'm going to catch them later and move them later. So our plant's doing great. I'm quite happy with HC Cuba. A little bit yellowing on it, but just a tiny bit, and it's not a big deal. I think it's going to go away in the near future. Our Pheasant's moss is growing insane. So very happy with the result. We also have quite a lot of green wall here, green dust algae on the walls. And the reason for that is because we had a fish here, and I feed the fish daily, and I didn't do the water change for at least a month. I just tested the water in this tank, and you can see we have a 0 ammonia, 0 of nitrite, and quite a lot of nitrate end product. I would say roughly about 20 parts per million, which is way too much for Caridina shrimp. That's why it's a good idea to do a massive water change to withdraw all of this nitrate from this tank. So let's do it now. We finished with the water change, and this tank is looking good and it's ready for shrimp. But before we add the shrimps here, I want to put something here in between these planted pockets, right in the middle of the tank, and I have a perfect thing for that. Take a look at this beautiful busifilandra biblis on a piece of wood. It will definitely look perfect in that place. Yes, beautiful. I knew it's gonna fit perfectly in this space. I absolutely love this tank now. We don't have many plants, we only have a slow growing plants like Busiphyllandra on the wood. We also have a coconut shell with Physidens moss and also hookah moss on another side on coconut shell. We have a HC cuba inside these pockets, very slow growing plants without CO2. So perfect tank for the shrimps. Lots of open space for them so we can observe and look at them every day. Not many hiding spaces, but we still have some hiding space for them in order just to make them feel safe. Shrimp very like to hide inside the coconut shell and hang upside down. They also like to graze on the Busiphyllandra leaf. They feel very safe there. And speaking of shrimp, they just arrived, so let's see what we got. And here we have our shrimps inside these boxes, which arrived today, and we should have 20 and 10 PRL shrimps inside. And I ordered them from 2 different sellers. The reason for that is because I want to improve the shrimps' genetics straight away. It's always a good idea to mix your shrimps from different breeders. So enough talking, let's open them up and see what we got inside. Nice, a lot of shrimps there. And there should be 10 PRL shrimps inside this bag. So let's put them in an acrylic box and properly look at them. So I moved the shrimps into these acrylic boxes, and here we have 22 of pure red line shrimp from the first seller, and here we have 13 of pure red line shrimp from another seller. And take a look at them, guys. These shrimps look decent. This is quite good grade shrimp here. These shrimps are decent as well. They need to just settle in their tank to pop the color back, because now they're a little bit stressed and a little bit pale. So now let's acclimate them and put them in the new home. I just finished acclimating the shrimp and I put them here in this little container. They're ready to go into the new home, so let's put them in. Finally, we've got our crystal red shrimp in this tank after 12 weeks of this cycle and mature. The shrimp are absolutely happy to have a huge amount of natural food around them. It takes really long to cycle this AD Amazonia soil, but I'm okay with that. After many weeks of leaching ammonia, you got plenty of nitrifying bacteria, algae and biofilm in this tank. This is what your Caridina shrimp really need. And guys, if you don't want to wait for so long, I recommend using AD Amazonia version 2 with orange writings. It has a reduced amount of nutrients and it doesn't leach ammonia for so long. I'm so pleased now to have a red crystal shrimp in my collection. They were my first Caridina shrimp when I just started the hobby. I like them so much. They are simple Caridina, which means they are very hardy and very prolific, almost like Neo Caridina shrimp. This is why I choose quite a large tank for them, to give them more space to breed, and I'm hoping to see thousands of them here in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna end my video here. Please drop me a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.